Are you there? Everybody just wants it all, right?
I need a fucking haircut. Mars Argo is a name that may ring a bell to many of you for all the wrong reasons. In the early 2010s, Mars Argo was involved in the indie music scene and had a pretty sizable YouTube presence as well. However, on the cusp of her breakout success, a bad breakup spurred by abuse put her career on hold and seemed to ruin her chances of mainstream success. Today, Mars Argo is best known for a few of her songs that reached TikTok virality and her involvement in the Poppy court case, but her career is much, much more than that. So today, we'll be taking a look at the life and work of Mars Argo, one of the most influential indie artists of our generation. Probably. I'm not much of an indie guy. It's a vibe though. I'm your host MattCMG, and let's get right into the story of Mars Argo. Brittany Alexandria Sheets, better known by her stage name, Mars Argo, grew up in Saginaw, Michigan. Not much is known about her early life aside from some random factoids she stated in interviews, such as that she grew up riding horses, singing in her church choir, and playing piano. Around 2007, Argo was attending college with a major in biology, and during this time on MySpace, she met Corey Mixter, stage name Titanic Sinclair. The two began dating, and Sinclair quickly began featuring Argo in his videos on the YouTube channel Digital Funtown. Digital Funtown was a sketch comedy group who would upload their short sketches to YouTube in the site's early years. Their biggest hit was the Obama Rap, a song that played on the Obama Girl meme at the time. This was what passed for memes back then. I don't make the rules. Singing the hook for this song, though, was none other than Mars Argo, marking her first musical appearance online. Argo would also appear in various other sketches for this channel, such as Pirate Wheel of Fortune, and did other songs for it as well, such as Dinosaurs. Digital Funtown was shut down in 2008, but it wasn't the last we'd see of Mars Argo and Titanic Sinclair. Around this time, the two formed a band, also called Mars Argo, and began working on an album together. Their debut album, Technology is a Dead Bird, was released on Bandcamp and iTunes in November of 2009. The record displayed Argo's vocals in a more serious context than the meme songs that came before. The album has this whole vibe of being serene yet sinister at the same time, and Argo's vocals reflect this with her angelic yet melancholic voice. As the title would suggest, the album is mostly about technology and how it affects people. The intro track, The Singularity is Near, features the voice of an AI named Connie, who laments how things used to be much simpler before technology had overtaken our lives. This set the tone for the whole album, with songs like Machine and Tired Today representing the album's main character, likely the Mars Argo character herself, dealing with depression and social isolation caused by the internet. It's a bleak and haunting message, similar to that of Radiohead's OK Computer, which the band was clearly inspired by, but at the same time, it was also kind of ahead of its time. There was also kind of a charm to the imperfections of the album, since it was obviously their first go at something like this, and it fittingly adds to the album's themes of discomfort and change. To go along with and promote Technology is a Dead Bird, the duo would create a YouTube channel by the name of Grocerybagdottv. This channel would be home to everything Mars Argo and then some, with the goal of creating various different series for the channel. There was a scrapped social commentary series called The Meaning of Life, as well as a documentary about Sheets' life and the rest of the band during the production of their 2011 EP that we'll get to later, alongside the music videos for the band's music. But above all else, the longest running and most successful series on this channel was Computer Show, running from 2009 to 2014. Computer Show is a satirical look at pop culture and social issues in a really sarcastic yet surreal kind of way. Each episode would feature Argo and Sinclair on a white background as they discuss various topics with reverb on their voices. Some episodes would be about celebrity gossip and drama like Beyonce's pregnancy or Amanda Bynes' drug use, while other episodes would be about internet culture. There would also be occasional Q&A episodes where they'd answer fan questions, and other episodes where there just was no topic. It was just Argo and Sinclair shooting the shit and having fun with no real message behind it. There's an episode literally titled I Shaved My Pussy. They gave zero fucks. Can't get away with that on YouTube today, goddamn. The series lasted for 30 official episodes, with a final unofficial episode being released in 2015. These episodes usually featured the instrumental of a Mars Argo song in the background, which served as their main way of advertising their music, as well as their merch and shows that they were playing at. But going back to late 2009, the Argo-Sinclair duo began working on their second EP as a follow-up to Technology is a Dead Bird. Spider in My Bathtub would be in development for over a year, with its lead single of the same name being released in September of 2010. However, the project was scrapped for unknown reasons and ended up evolving into their real second EP, titled Linden Place, which was released in March of 2011. While their debut album was much more ethereal, Linden Place had more of a grungy pop rock vibe to it.
These songs were a lot catchier than their earlier work, in my humble opinion.
This EP contained only 5 tracks if you include the bonus track, but one of these tracks would go on to become Mars Argo's most popular song without a doubt, Using You. This song not only perfectly encapsulates the tone of the EP, but also kind of defined the Mars Argo brand going forward. The song, and by extension the rest of the album, is about the struggle of going against what social norms and authority figures tell us is the right way to be happy, coming to the conclusion that being truly happy involves doing none of that. Reading the lyrics to songs like Formal Girl reveal that this is a very personal project to Argo, with songs revolving around her family's expectations of her and how she doesn't really need to live up to them. Needless to say, it's a pretty thematically rich project, and there's some bangers on there for sure. As 2012 rolled around, the band became involved with Johnny K, a music producer who's worked with bands like 3 Doors Down, Disturbed, The Plain White T's, and Finger 11. Cringe! With Johnny K, the band sought to remix many of their older songs off of Technology's A Dead Bird and Linden Place and give them a more polished and professional feel. The only of these remixes to be officially released was Using You, which had the Johnny K remix released in 2014. Other songs off of their first 2 projects were also remixed, such as Love in Black and White, Beauty is Empty, and Suicide Birds, but for unknown reasons were never officially released and were subsequently leaked online.
Take a shot every time a Mars Argo song doesn't come out, giving Kanye a run for his money here, damn.
While working with Johnny K on their remixes, the band was also working on the self-titled second studio album, also titled Mars Argo. This album would eventually go through something of a development hell throughout 2012 and 2013, but a few singles were released in November of 2012, those being Runaway Runaway and Stuck on You, the former of which has its music video still available on the Grocerybagdottv channel. However, it's around 2014 where things start to get messy with Mars Argo and Titanic Sinclair. Around 2014 is when Mars Argo and Titanic Sinclair would officially break up. It seemed like the two still wanted to work together in a professional capacity, so they would try to keep the Mars Argo band going while they worked on their other solo projects. Here, Sinclair announced one of his next projects, that being the Poppy channel, which, don't worry, we'll get into. Mars Argo still performed together as a band for a while, but it clearly wasn't working out, and the band officially broke up not long after, purging the Grocerybagdottv channel in the process, save for a few videos. It would later be revealed that the reason for the couple, and thereby the band's breakup, was due to Sinclair cheating on Argo, as well as emotional and psychological abuse that he imparted on her. Even after their breakup, Sinclair would repeatedly stalk and harass Argo. Apparently, he would spread false rumors about her to friends and people in the music industry to dissuade anybody from associating with her, and even went as far as to breaking into her house and physically assaulting her.
Yeah, fuck this guy. But it gets worse.
Apparently, this was all happening while the band was still active, and the only reason Argo bothered to put up with it was because she didn't want to waste all the hard work she put into the Mars Argo project. As early as 2013 was when Sinclair began gaslighting Argo to believe that she wouldn't be able to succeed in the music industry without him, among other demeaning things. This would go on throughout 2014 and 2015 until Argo realized that she had had enough of Sinclair's abuse, causing her to move away from LA. When this information became public a few years later, fans began to interpret a lot of the group's older songs and videos. For instance, on May 30th, 2014, a video titled Day of Retribution was uploaded to their YouTube channel, in which Argo and Sinclair, in the style of their computer show series, recite the words of Elliot Rodger, who was responsible for the 2014 Isla Vista massacre, which happened only a week before this video was uploaded. The video has since been taken down, but knowing what was going on between the two at the time, it starts to take on a different, even more sinister meaning. The lyrics of some of their older songs also came into question, with fans theorizing that the song Beauty is Empty off of Linden Place was secretly about Sinclair's infidelity. Fans have also noticed that you can usually tell which songs were written by Sinclair and which were written by Argo, with Sinclair's lyrics often being about dependency and were quite self-aggrandizing in retrospect, while Argo's lyrics were often about escaping.
Some of these fan theories are a bit of a stretch, but I wouldn't put it past Argo to write a song to have multiple meanings.
Regardless, one thing was made clear. Titanic Sinclair is a sociopath, with his various threats and abusive treatment towards Mars Argo essentially ruining her career.
Then I'm gonna put a shotgun in my mouth and blow the brains out of the back of my head.
Hey, nobody is stopping you. But even after Argo moved away to avoid her abusive ex-boyfriend, he still tried his hardest to not only rub in her face how important he saw himself in her life, but tried and succeeded to find mainstream success ripping off the Mars Argo vibe and character to further his other projects. During the band's final months, Titanic Sinclair announced that he had another multimedia project in the works. After meeting Mariah Rose Pereira, Sinclair developed That Poppy, or just Poppy. This was a YouTube channel that featured Pereira as the Poppy character, talking directly into the camera about a variety of social issues and pop culture occurrences, all with this weird, esoteric vibe to it. The channel caught a lot of steam in its early years due to people finding it really creepy, resulting in reaction videos and what have you about the Poppy videos.
Personally, I don't think that they're very creepy per se, but they're a little weird, a little bit out there.
The channel would grow pretty rapidly over the years, releasing more videos and even delving into music as well, but as the channel received more attention, fans of Mars Argo began to notice a lot of similarities between the Poppy videos and the old computer show videos. Both were a series of satirical internet commentary videos on a white background with a blonde blonde girl speaking in a high-pitched voice, all with a very abnormal vibe. It's one thing to have a recurring motif in your work, like if Sinclair just liked using white backgrounds, then it would have been whatever, but even if you didn't know that these were both made by the same person, the similarities are too much of a coincidence to think that it wasn't intentional. To add to this, the term Mars Argo would result in your comments on Poppy videos being instantly deleted, and any mention of the name on other platforms would get you blocked. It was clear that Titanic Sinclair was trying to emulate what he did before with Computer Show, but knowing what he did to Mars Argo, it was clear that this was just a petty move, likely done to prove that Argo could be replaced and that he'd be just as successful.
Delete your Facebook.
Delete your Facebook.
Mars Argo took notice of this and decided to take legal action. In 2018, Brittany Sheets filed a lawsuit against Corey Mixter and Mariah Rose Pereira for Poppy being a clear ripoff of their old Computer Show videos, with the Poppy character clearly being made to copy the Mars Argo character. Not just that, but it was also argued that the copying of the Mars Argo style was done intentionally by Mixter to further antagonize Sheets as part of his continued harassment and abuse of her, going as far back as before the Poppy videos were even a thing. Sheets noted that when she first met Pereira before Poppy was a thing, she had brown hair and spoke normally, but after working with Mixter, Pereira dyed her hair blonde with the same haircut as the Mars Argo character, and the videos to come would have her voice pitched up.
There are plenty of similarities that we simply don't have the time to go over, so if you want to see all of them for yourself, I have left a link to the court document in the description below.
Aside from the blatant copying of Mars Argo, there were also many examples of Mixter taking obvious pot shots at Sheets in his work. In 2015, after the Mars Argo band broke up, Sheets began working on a solo project called Guppy. Mixter noticed this and shortly released a not-so-subtle diss track, also called Guppy. He also sought to further defame Sheets by tweeting that he was the sole creative mind behind Mars Argo and that Sheets added nothing, which clearly wasn't true. Even more blatantly was the Poppy ARG of 2016, in which an old Mars Argo video titled Everybody Wants It All was re-uploaded by Tony Katai, the director of the short, but was repurposed as a clue for the ARG. The video features the Mars Argo character talking into a webcam in a seemingly manic state, pulling out a gun, and ranting about how everybody just wants it all before coughing up blood and glitching out. The titular phrase was yet another thing Mixter reused in the Poppy videos, with the line appearing in some Poppy songs, obviously alluding to this video. It's unclear what his motives were for doing this, but they clearly weren't in good faith.
Combine these obvious jabs at Sheets with the years of domestic abuse also outlined in the lawsuit, and you've got a pretty good case on your hands.
But strangely enough, the lawsuit was dropped on September 14th, 2018 after apparently settling out of court. This still proved to be a victory for Sheets though, as she gained the full rights to everything Mars Argo, officially filing for trademarks in February of 2021. In December of 2019, Pereira and Mixter would break up, and she would use the Poppy platform to retract any and all accusations she made towards Sheets, as well as further exposing Mixter as an abuser and a scumbag.
Get fucked, bozo. This lawsuit garnered massive media attention, which is great in the sense that it exposed this abuser for his heinous actions, but unfortunately came with the side effect that it's basically impossible to talk about Mars Argo today without somebody bringing up the Poppy stuff or the abuse. Anytime you look up Mars Argo, the only things that show up besides her music are articles and videos about the Poppy situation, which in my opinion is kind of unfair to her. It's obviously terrible what happened to her, but that's not the only thing that defines her as an artist or as a person. And I'm sure that it's not very easy for her to come back to the internet when that's all people seem to remember her for, and that's all people seem to talk about in regards to her.
Ever since the band originally broke up, Mars Argo would remain pretty elusive to the internet at large. It almost seemed as though she was forgotten for her music, and everyone seems to only know her for her involvement with Titanic Sinclair and Poppy. That was until TikTok came into play. In the summer of 2019, a TikTok trend began spreading where users would create comedic situations set to the Mars Argo song Using You. These TikToks would play on the lyrics of the first line of the chorus, which goes, "You're the only one who's making me come." The line actually goes on to be less sexual in nature, but TikTokers took this odd cadence and ran with it, creating many humorous videos about trying to get it on with your partner, hoping that your parents don't bust into the room or whatever.
The Using You trend was huge on TikTok during the summer of 2019. This was certainly where I first heard the song, and like most TikTok meme songs, the song received a boom in popularity.
This saw a surge in views to the music video for the song, which now sits at over 20 million views, and created a bunch of new Mars Argo fans. When asked about her thoughts about the song's newfound fame, Argo responded on her Tumblr that she thought it was, quote, fucking weird.
A simple yet pretty accurate reaction, if you ask me.
Apparently, an audio clip from the Computer Show episode Delete Your Facebook has also been making the rounds on TikTok as well recently, though it doesn't seem to be as big of a trend.
But because she's so elusive to the public, one question has remained. Where's Mars Argo? The answer to that question is, she's around. Sometimes. While she isn't very active on her social media profiles these days, she does occasionally drop in on her Tumblr to answer fan questions or to reassure her fans on Twitter and Instagram that she will be returning at some point. Her Twitter is actually a goldmine, a little bit low-key. Writing songs in my sleep again. You ever try to eat chips without your hands? Those are her 2 most recent tweets, by the way.
But is Mars Argo really returning? Well, according to an Instagram post the day her lawsuit went public, Argo did confirm that she has more music in the works, but lately it seems that her main focus has been on acting. Throughout 2015 into today, Sheets has appeared in various commercials, web series, and indie movies with relatively minor roles. Her most recent cameos were the role of Sissy in the 2020 indie film Dinner in America, and a waitress in the 2017 short film Ordinary Lovers, with her supposedly also appearing in an upcoming feature film. But as far as music goes, it's been confirmed as recently as 2020 that the self-titled Mars Argo album has been revived as a solo project, and is still in the works as far as we know. And in case you were wondering, yes, this is in fact Robbie Shapiro from Victorious.
On a personal note, I remember discovering Mars Argo through the Using You TikTok trend, like many of you did, and when I mentioned it on a stream I was doing back then, it turned out that one of my only viewers was apparently a huge Mars Argo fan, and he would send a bunch of her songs in the song request featured thing. And for that reason, I always associate Mars Argo with the old Minecraft stream days, and I've really come to love a lot of her music. Using You is a banger, of course. Love in Black and White has me feeling electric, and I know she doesn't like having her, leaked songs out there, but Wasting Away goes pretty damn hard. Now, if only her discography was on Spotify. I would definitely call myself a Mars Argo fan, and I'm certainly looking forward to whatever's coming next from her, and I can only hope that she's able to find success in that. So, that has been the story of Mars Argo, and if you like this little documentary, then be sure to leave a like on this video, comment your thoughts below, subscribe, Patreon, all that shit. I've been MattCMG, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching our computer show.
What's with these homies who be dissing my boy? Do they know I'm aggravated with the negativity and the noise? They tell me find a wealthy man, but they don't seem too happy. I was afraid to put myself on the line for a boy, till he put me in his place and showed me how to enjoy myself. I think I need your help. I think she's coming back. You're the only one who's making me come to my sinful senses. I'll never love anyone the same. I never feel ashamed of using you for pleasure, of using you for pleasure, of using you for pleasure.